and welcome back to your next theory lesson. Today we're going to be working in Unit 4 from the Celebrate Theory Level 2, and we're going to be talking about degrees of the scale, degrees of the major scale, and this is found on page 34 in your book. So I'm just going to share crescendo again with you, and I already have up a basic C major scale going from C to C. Scale is 8 notes, and we're going to just grab text. When we're working with degrees of the scale and they ask you to mark in the degrees, you're actually going to use something called a caret, and we place that above each note of the scale. So I'm just going to put those in to start with so we can see what those look like, and they will go all the way up. So a caret is placed above each, and then underneath each of these carets, we're going to be putting the number, which number of the scale the note is. And we have 8 notes in the scale, so we just got one left in here. So you're going to have 8 numbers. So back to text, and underneath each of these carets, I'm going to write in, this is 1. So as you're writing this, you'll end up putting the caret above the number. This is third, and we go all the way up to our 8 notes. So that's initially how you're going to number these. But we're going to take it a step farther today because we don't only number them and put carets in. We also give them specific names for each degree of the scale. So underneath here, I'm just going to tell you what those are. The very first note is referred to as our tonic. The next note is called the supertonic. The third note of the scale is called the mediant. The fourth note of the scale is called the, subdominant, spelling, subdominant. The fifth note of the scale is our dominant note. The sixth note, I'll put it down here, is the submediant. The seventh note is called our leading tone. And lastly, I'm going to have to try to put it way underneath here. So the final note again comes to our tonic. Sorry, it's kind of overlapped in here. I ran out of room. So tonic, supertonic, mediant, subdominant, dominant, submediant, leading tone, and tonic. Now, for this grade level, you do not need to mark in all of these degrees. I kind of jumped ahead because you might as well understand that each one of the notes of your scale has a specific name for it. But for this unit, you're going to be asked to mark in the tonic note. So that would be your first and your final note of the scale. You're going to be asked to mark in your subdominant. So the fourth note of the scale you'll need to identify. And finally, your dominant, which is the fifth note of the scale. Those are the only 3 names of your scale notes that you will need to mark in for this grade level. So as you're writing a scale, whether it's ascending and descending or just ascending, you'll have to find the first, the fourth, and the fifth and mark it in. What you may be asked, though, is to also mark in the degrees of the scale just using your numbers and your caret sign above. So today's focus would be tonic, subdominant, and dominant, and don't forget your tonic at the end. In the next lesson, when we're going through scales and you have a minor scale, you will be asked to identify your leading tone, and he's very important in our minor scales. So you'll have to remember that one too, and I may ask you to just reference this video in order to review those occasionally throughout the course. If you have any questions about your degrees of the scale, please send me an email. I'd be happy to help you, and be sure to subscribe as we're going to go through our scales next. Thanks so much for joining me.